actually one of the people running for vice president. There, we've got a lot of great people running for vice president. By the way, who do we prefer?
Some people are speculating over recently viral news that, according to them, confirms that Donald Trump has chosen Vivek Ramaswamy to be his VP. Now, in fairness, I've never thought that was going to happen. I do like Ramaswamy a lot. I'm confident he's going to get a position on Trump's cabinet, but I've never thought he was going to be the VP, and I've explained the reasons already extensively. But with that said, I would today like to analyze this news and these rumors objectively and fairly and kind of tell you what I think of them. And I think that is pretty even and balanced, right? So with that said, folks, as usual, if you like the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So what am I talking about? Well, a tweet went viral in the past week that says Trump discreetly left Cleveland a few days ago, unbeknownst to anyone, and I took this video of his plane leaving the Cleveland Hopkins airport. Trump was here because he wanted to ask someone to be his VP in person. The Secret Service drove him south. Trump's VP, according to this guy, is going to be Vivek. So he's essentially saying Trump took a secret meeting to Ohio. Here's this video of his plane, and he was here, source unknown, apparently though, going to ask Vivek Ramaswamy to be the VP. Here's another tweet that says, this could very well be fake news, but the claim is that Trump was in Ohio a few days ago to ask Vivek Ramaswamy to be his VP. I would be really happy if that turns out to be his pick. Now, that said, again, I know some people are very excited at this news, but I am here to also try to assess reality. We got to be careful about some stuff like this because it is obviously a lot of engagement bait on the internet because people like Ramaswamy and people are obviously interested in the VP pick that Trump is going to make, to just find any news you can source that might suggest that Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be the VP. Now, that said, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I would also look at this guy's tweet. I don't even know who this guy is, because this guy may full well know something that we don't, and I'm not saying he's wrong here, but I'm also not saying he's right, because the guy equally could be engagement baiting, or maybe he was standing in the airport and heard a rumor from someone else who was just making stuff up. So that's going to be important to consider. Now, it's also important to point out that another person on Trump's VP shortlist is, of course, Senator J.D. Vance, who is also from Ohio. So you could say, oh, he went to Ohio. That confirms that Vivek's the VP. It could also mean Vance is the VP. It could also, thirdly, means he went to Ohio for a completely different reason. Maybe he wanted to meet with one of those people. That is fully possible, but it could have been a discussion about campaign strategy. He could have been meeting with his team to discuss the ground game in Ohio. Maybe he was there to meet with Ohio Senate and congressional candidates. Again, who knows? Now, further, I will point out that according to Vivek Ramaswamy publicly, take a listen here, he went on Judge Jeanine to say that he has never been asked by Trump to be the vice president. Now, again, for people who are holding out hope for Vivek, does that equally confirm that he's not going to be the VP? Again, I don't really think it's going to happen, but technically no, right? Maybe he did ask, but he's not allowed to disclose it publicly yet. Or maybe he just hasn't made a choice yet. And that's equally possible, but take a listen to the interview here.
After posting about Trump leaving Cleveland Hopkins Airport, he's theorized that he was there to ask someone to become his VP in person. And he said that it was you. Any response to this?
Look, what I'll say is this. President Trump and I have had some great conversations about the future. He has not asked me to be his vice president, but whoever he asks, I think will have a great opportunity and an honor and a duty to serve this country, to advance that America First agenda, take it to the next level, to fix that southern border crisis, to grow the economy, and I believe to get those bureaucrats out of Washington, D.C., that's how you grow the economy. And you know what? The step-by-step process is first success tomorrow night, then win the election, then implement the agenda. I think that's how we're going to save this country.
All right, that's after post.
So there you have Vivek Ramaswamy personally denying those claims. And again, that could be a smokescreen if you're really trying to hold out hope on this. but it's worth noting at the same time. And looking at the betting markets, Doug Burgum, who I did say a couple weeks ago is strongly looking like he's going to be the VP, now at 37% and is way out in front. The reason now maybe there might be possibilities in other directions is that I think Trump was looking to make his VP announcement either right before or right after the debate. However, considering that Joe Biden just bombed that debate so terribly, I think now if you're Donald Trump, you want to delay your decision for as long as possible because you don't want the news to be about your VP. You want the news to be about people remembering how Biden was so bad in the debate. So I will say, although I've long thought it's going to be Doug Burgum, because you go to Doug Burgum's website, actually specifically you type in trumpburgum.com on the internet, it was redirecting right to the Trump website, and Burgum is just kind of acting like the VP pick right now. That could obviously change. And in the next couple of weeks, since it's not public or official, Trump may have a change of heart. And I do think that delay might open the door for other candidates. But the conclusion ultimately, I guess, is this. The reason I've long thought Vivek's not going to be the VP is not because Vivek is too inadequate. It's because he is too much in many ways like Trump. He appeals too much to the same voters as Trump. And while you could make an argument to the contrary, I think the conventional wisdom here is mostly he's going to choose a running mate who is aligned with him enough, but at the same time, opens a door to new voters in the election and certainly doesn't create a liability that Trump may have to defend. Vivek, I think, on one hand, appeals to the same voters as Trump. And secondly, because Vivek is such, you could say, I guess, a hothead in some ways, I would say more so, he's very open about speaking his mind. That's very good if Vivek Ramaswamy were the candidate, or if Vivek Ramaswamy is a White House spokesman or whatever it is, right? But in terms of the running mate, I really think what Trump is thinking here, I'm not even saying I agree, but what he's thinking is he wants more of a safe, laid back kind of person that doesn't create negative media articles against him. And that might be the concern with Ramaswamy. Now, that is not me trashing Vivek or saying I don't think he has a future in the Trump presidency. I think clearly what you're seeing right now is Trump lining up to give Vivek a very important cabinet position. And by the way, perhaps a place where he can actually affect policy, because I think we should remember that as well. Yes, the VP is a nice name to put on the top of the ticket. Yes, I know a lot of you guys watching this video would dream to put Trump Ramaswamy on a bumper sticker. But if you want to think about it practically and you really look at Vivek as someone who's a visionary, he has the ideas, would you rather get the dopamine of putting Trump Ramaswamy on a bumper sticker or actually put him in a place where he can affect policy? See what I'm saying? Now, you could make the argument that you want him to be the VP because that way he can succeed Trump in 2028. But let's also keep in mind, he can do that anyway, guys. I mean, especially if he is a key cabinet member under Trump. Sure, whoever Trump's VP is in 28 may start off with a lead, but they are in no way guaranteed to win the primary. And so that's why I would say, on one hand, I don't think Vivek's going to be the VP. But if you want to speculate over this news, I would say feel free to do so. There's no harm in doing it. Just don't get too excited over, certain news that makes you see what you want to see, right? But then on the other hand, okay, if he's not the VP, but he clearly is going to have a powerful cabinet position where he's affecting policy, that will make him as impactful for the Trump administration as he could be, because the VP doesn't actually do anything. A cabinet position does actually impact policy. That's number one. But number two, sets himself up for plenty of a political future. Because if, let's just say, Doug Burgum is the VP, Doug Burgum might do well as a running mate. I think he's sort of like crafted in a way to be an ideal running mate. But in terms of leading the country, no, absolutely not. And in terms of even running for president in the future, I don't think Doug Burgum really has the it factor. So I would look at a primary between Burgum and Ramaswamy and a lot of other people and say, I don't know who's going to win, but if it's just between Ramaswamy and Burgum, I think Ramaswamy still wins a Republican primary. It doesn't matter if Trump's VP is Burgum or not, right? So that's what I'm saying here is, in regards to the VP news, again, I still think it's going to be Burgum. The next couple weeks delaying the decision might cause, last minute changes, but it's going to be Burgum or someone else. I just still don't think it's going to be Vivek for those reasons. But again, regardless of what happens, if Trump chooses Ramaswamy in the end and throws us all a curveball, then I'd say, okay, good for him. If it's not Ramaswamy, My main encouragement to the big Vivek people is don't freak out, okay? Because the country's going to be fine. Vivek's going to be fine. And he's guaranteed a position where he can impact policy. That's my thoughts on it. But again, recapping the news, Vivek says it's not true. He's not been asked. Some people are still speculating that he has been asked. Up to you guys to interpret. With that said, folks, be sure to leave a like on this video, comment your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And until next time, Alpha Moves Only, God bless. Have a very great rest of your day, and peace.